Hi there, it's Nicole for Lawn Fawn, and today's card features a gift card holder on the inside with this cute little scene on the outside using lots of new stamps and dies from the summer 2017 release. I've got the Wild For You stamps and dies, the Lift the Flap dies, Stitched Cloud backdrop, the Push Here stamp set, and the Simple gift slot, plus some other past release stamps and dies, all from Lawn Fawn. I'm going to start with stamping the images that I'm going to use from Wild For You on some Nina smooth white cardstock. I'm going to use the Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink. This is a perfect ink for doing some copic coloring. I am using almost every image from this Wild For You stamp set, except for I think maybe the crown. But everything else I am using, the party hats and all of the animals. The Misty makes it really easy since you can stamp everything all at once. And then if you don't get a very good outline, you can always ink it up again and stamp it one more time right on top of the first stamped images, and it's going to line up perfectly. So there are all the cute little critters. Now, I stamped the birthday hats, but I'm going to need quite a few more because I want each of these little critters to be able to wear them. So I'm cleaning off my stamps with the Lawn Fawn chamois, and then I'm going to take the birthday hat images and stamp additional hats just using an acrylic block. So a couple more of the polka dot hats and a couple more of the stripe hats. It's convenient to have everything stamped before you start coloring. That way you don't have to go back and add more images. Next, I am coloring everything with copic markers. The colors of copic markers I'm using are shown across the bottom of the screen. These yellow greens are some of my favorite copic marker colors, and I think they're perfect for this little alligator or crocodile. I guess I'm not exactly sure which, but this is a great color combination. It's YG 91, 95, and 99. Lay out my light color, go in with my darkest color, and then blend with my mid-tone color before going back with the lightest color again and blending it all out. Then you can always go back with your darker colors and add more shading if too much got blended out, you want to add a little more detail, anything like that. I'm adding some little dotted detail with my darkest and mid-tone colors as well to give my critters some texture. For the elephants, both are going to be colored with the same colors of copic markers. Lots of warm grays here. In fact, both elephants and then the mouse, just different warm gray colors. All of them are shown across the bottom of the screen. I tend to like to start my elephants kind of light and end up going a little bit darker. It just depends. Blend those colors out. I like to do the inside of the ears with a nice light pink. The R000 is perfect for this. And then go over it with one of the lighter warm gray markers, because that way it's not such a harsh pink color. You can see here it's really pink. So if you go over it with a lighter warm gray color, you still have that pink tint, but it just blends so much nicer into the rest of the animal. Again, once I have all the shading, coloring done, I'm going to go in with my darker colors and add some dot detail to the elephants, and I will do this for both. If some of the dots get a little dark like they did down there near the elephant's mouth and trunk, I thought they were a little too harsh, go in with one of your lighter colors and just kind of dot over those, and that will kind of blend them out a little bit. Again, the small elephant was colored with the same color combination, and the mouse is going to be colored with the grays as well. Such a cute little image here. I really love that all of the Lawn Fawn animals work and coordinate so well together. You can grab other animals from other stamp sets and really mix and match if you wanted to. For my giraffe, I've kind of got some lighter brown colors for the base color of my giraffe, and then for the polka dots, or the little dot detail here, I'm going to use a couple of darker colors. For the hooves, I will even go a bit darker. I'm not even going to go back with my lighter color for those little polka dots. No need. E57 and then E49 for the hooves. And then I'm ready to move on to my lion, which is going to be in more shades of brown, but kind of on the yellow end of the spectrum. Give him a nice base color. Now, I originally started feathering kind of out from the edge, and that really did not work for the lion's mane. What I'm going to do instead is blend that out, go back and feather out from the face out. And that's going to work so much better. This just did not work at all. I didn't like how it looked, so I'm blending here carefully. I don't want the color to bleed outside the lines. I'll color the rest of my lion in, blending those colors, adding some detail to the face. Now the mane looks way too much like the rest of the body, and I want it to show up. So I'm going to start with E57 and feather out from the face, just little flicks of my pen, and then go in with my next color and feather that out and blend and soften those lines and strokes just a little bit. And that looks much better. A little R00 for the cheeks, although I think it didn't show up very well, so I went over it with the yellow. Or brown, light brown, tan color. Blend all of this out, color in the nose with a darker copic marker, add some little dot detail here and there, very, very light for this. For the party hats, the striped hats are all going to be the same in rainbow color. The polka dot hats are all going to be rainbow color as well, but the base color will be different on each. Very bright and fun. Rainbow is always my go-to if I'm not sure what color palette I want to go with. And the party hats are so super cute and fun. I like that they're separate from the main animal image. That way it doesn't have to be a birthday or celebration type of card. You could create any kind of card with these images, and since they don't have party hats on permanently, that they can work for so many different kinds of occasions. The butterfly is in a couple shades of kind of a blue violet color, and then I'll take the coordinating Wild For You dies and die cut all of these images. From a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock, I did die cut the brand new Lawn Fawn background. This is the Stitched Cloud backdrop in the landscape format, plus I added a little Salty Ocean Distress ink to it, which I forgot to videotape, so I apologize for that. Spritzed it with a little water, blotted it dry, but it's some great stitching detail. You can get this in landscape or portrait. From another piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock, I used the Lawn Fawn grassy hillside borders and die cut 2 grassy borders from those. On one of them, I stamped a greeting from the Wild For You stamp set. Great greetings that you can mix and match to build your own custom greetings. Stamp that with Versamark ink, heat embossing with white embossing powder, and then I'm going to apply some Mowed Lawn and Twisted Citron Distress inks to these grassy borders. And that'll give the embossed resist look of the greeting. I am going to grab a scrap piece of paper to keep my fingers out of the ink. Here's that Twisted Citron, nice two-tone ink. Make sure and blend until there's a seamless blend from one color to the other. Spritz those with water from a distress sprayer and blot them dry with a paper towel. Make sure to buff off anything on the embossed area so any ink sitting on top is wiped away. And there's the two borders that are going to go across the bottom of my card. And I can tuck all those little critters in there and add their party hats to create this little scene. So I'm going to layer my two grassy borders first and attach those to the bottom of the stitched cloud backdrop. If they're hanging over a little, I'll just trim that up. Then I'm going to start building the scene, so tucking some of the animals behind the first layer, some will sit on top of that, some behind the back layer. This gives the illusion of depth and dimension, even though it's fairly flat. There's no foam adhesive or anything on this particular design. Adding the party hats with some Zotz Bling glue dots. Anything small, I like to use the Zotz Bling glue dots to add those to the card. The alligator is going to kind of be standing on top of the word birthday there. Add the rest of those party hats. Once I have all of the images in place, I thought the butterfly needed a little trail there behind it. So I grabbed that from the Chirpy Chirp Chirp stamp set and stamped that with black ink right there on the background. Kind of positioned it, and I'm adjusting where that giraffe is sitting. I'm going to take some Key Lime Nouveau Crystal Drops and add some little drops along the bottom edge where the grass is for a decorative accent. This also kind of blends into the grass. I don't really want it to take away. Now you might see some white sparkly dots on the tips of the party hats. I wanted some little pom-poms on the top of the party hat and thought this white glitter, I think it's White Blizzard Nouveau Crystal Drops, would work. And it looked great to begin with, but as it dried, it went clear and it was hard to see. So what I did was I waited till they were hard enough to pick off, and then I did go ahead and kind of scrape them off the party hats, and I'm adding more opaque colors of Nouveau Crystal Drops to the tips of the party hat. I think I've got red berry, ripened pumpkin, dandelion yellow, Caribbean Ocean, I believe, and apple green. And the more colorful little dots at the tip of the hats really show up so much better. So if you happen to pick the wrong color of Nouveau Crystal Drops, you can wait a couple hours till they're dry enough and then just kind of scrape them off. I just use the tip of my scissors to kind of pry them off without ruining and tearing the party hats. Now I have a panel die cut from smooth white cardstock using a small dotted rectangle stackable that I am cutting the lift the flap largest shape from. This shape fits a gift card perfectly. I'm also going to die cut that shape again, the flap, from some Bristol smooth cardstock. Then from the Bristol smooth cardstock, I'm going to take one of those grassy borders and die cut that so that I can decorate the bottom half of the flap on my lift the flap on the inside. I also want to add an additional greeting to that little flap. So I'm using the anti-cling powder tool, adding more greetings from the Wild For You stamp set, plus that little open greeting from the Push Here stamp set, stamping those with Versamark ink and heat embossing with white embossing powder. Then I can take my same Mowed Lawn and Twisted Citron Distress inks and do a little embossed resist on this flap and attach this to the flap so that it gives it a little bit of a decorative look. It's bringing a little bit of the front of the card to the inside of the card. I'm really addicted to doing that lately so that when the recipient opens up the card, it looks as pretty on the inside as it does on the outside. Plus, this particular card is perfect for gift giving. If you're going to give a gift card to someone for their birthday, this is fantastic. Spritzed it with water from a distress sprayer, blotting that dry. Go ahead and add some adhesive, and I got a little too aggressive with the adhesive. So I'm just using my finger to roll that adhesive away. Just a little bit there. Don't want any of that sticking up higher than the grass. So there's my flap. Go ahead and bend that so it'll lift easily. And I've got a couple more little animals that I'm going to stamp and color, and I'm actually just going to trim these down. You don't need the whole thing. And just stick them up like they're peeking out from behind the grass. So I've got a little giraffe and a little mouse. And that's perfect for accenting this flap. I've got another piece of cardstock. This is the cilantro cardstock. And I'm going to die cut it with the small dotted rectangle stackable die again, plus one of the simple gift slots. This is going to be adhered behind the lift the flap panel. The contrasting color is really just going to make it pop a little bit. That frame didn't die cut all the way. I'm going to just tape it back in place and run it through again. And those little slots are perfect for a gift card to just slide into. I'm going to take my tape runner, run it all around all four edges of the lift the flap frame. Go ahead and secure that. You can see those little slits where a gift card can go. You can write a little greeting so that when they take the gift card out, the recipient can read it. Put some nice strong adhesive on the back of this and adhere it to the inside of the Wild For You birthday greeting card. Got a white side fold card base here. So there is the inside panel. Perfect for lifting that little flap, opening, getting the gift card out. Put some adhesive on the front and I can go ahead and adhere the panel. And my card is all finished. Thanks for joining me today for this Lawn Fawn birthday gift card holder card featuring lots of new stamps and dies from the summer 2017 Lawn Fawn release. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more videos featuring Lawn Fawn stamps and dies that you might be interested in. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.